almost 2 years ago, I started dating this girl called Grace, who goes to church, and she's been a huge influence on my faith, encouraging me in my faith, and that's probably 2 years ago is when I started really taking faith seriously, and I decided it was about time to get baptized. I mean, I think it's a pretty stereotypical thing, right? I grew up in the church. I've been a Christian my whole life, but I think there's a certain point where you actually make that decision for yourself, where you go, yeah, look, I've been coming to church my whole life. I've been listening in Sunday schools, but do I actually believe this? I've been told I believe this, but like there's a certain point where you have to decide whether you truly do for yourself. And I think that, yeah, as I said, that point for me was 2-3 years ago, over a series of youth camps and KIC conferences and all of that.
Well, I grew up in a Christian family. My parents, my sister, they're all Christian. And as a result of that, I kind of inherited that faith. And that kept me up until probably late teen years, where I left and I went to university. After that, I think that did a lot of damage to my faith, to the point where I started pursuing other things. It really kind of just undid everything. And that was fine by me. I was kind of living as an agnostic. I didn't really think much about it at all. Once I left uni and I went to work in the hospital as a pharmacist there, I encountered a lot of suffering, a lot of patients who just kind of really were going through a lot. And I kind of got sucked into that world, and it really took its toll on me. So I went through a real rough spot, kind of questioning the meaning of life and why we're here and why these people are suffering and why I'm suffering now too. And I couldn't really wrap my head around the answer to that. But I kind of figured that there must be meaning to life. I couldn't subscribe to the whole nihilism idea. And so I took a delve into Christianity, and I was kind of astonished with the depth and the teachings of Jesus, and kind of all of the theologians and kind of smart people that back this faith as well. And I found that fascinating. That's something I really missed out on earlier in life. And over time, I think that slowly eroded a lot of barriers that I'd put up towards Christianity before. And there came a point, I remember I was on a road trip in New Zealand, and I just figured I can't keep researching this and pretending as if it might be true or may be true. I have to commit to this. And I think it was at the top of a mountain, and I gave myself over to Jesus.
Yeah, this is interesting because it was, as I was starting to take faith seriously, one of my mates found out for the first time that I was a Christian. And he went, "Carl, you don't really act like a Christian." Mm-hmm. And I went, "Oh, well, maybe this is something I need to think about." And so I've been trying to live out my life as the gospel teaches us to, helping out people where I can and prioritizing their needs over mine. And living my life in the glory of God. And I'm trying to teach people about God, not just through not just through me verbally teaching them, but through my actions.
Well, I think part of this journey was accepting that if Christianity were to be true, it would be the most important thing in the world, in the universe. And that if it was true, it should and would impact every kind of decision in every walk of life that I ever take. It's kind of integral to the Christian life, really, as it is. It should kind of, any decision you make should be made through the filter or through the eyes or perspective of Jesus. So that's kind of how I came to think about this, is that if Christianity were to be true, which I do believe it is, that everything in life should be impacted. So the way you act every day, the way you treat other people, just the way you live your life, every single decision. I think it's important to think from a Christian kind of Jesus perspective.
Well, primarily because the Bible tells us to. The Bible, yeah, it talks about. Jesus got baptized, and it's for Christians, it's a metaphorical cleansing, almost a rebirth into God's word and God's gospel. And I want to take the opportunity to proclaim my faith, and say this is what I want to do for the rest of my life. I think being a part of a church community when you're witnessing someone be baptized, the joy that everyone displays when someone comes back out of the water, it's a great thing to witness.
I think first and foremost is Jesus himself got baptized. I find that astonishing. I think that is so cool. So that's a large reason. I guess another reason is it's kind of a public declaration or a way of being held accountable to this faith that I've committed myself to. It's a way of letting everyone know, hey, I lived a particular way in the past. That way's been put down, it's gone. And as I kind of resurface from the baptism itself, I've been brought into a new life. And I'm in a covenant with God, really, through this. And I think that's why, really.